Welcome to Math 218. My name is Brian Fitzpatrick, and I'll be your lead instructor this semester. I've prepared some welcome slides here just to maybe help acquaint you with some of the bureaucratic aspects of the course. This will help us get started for the semester. So let's jump right in. Who's involved with this course? Well, that's me, Brian Fitzpatrick. Here's just a bit of information that you might find useful. The URL to my website, which you're going to be visiting a lot this semester, is bfits.xyz, and my email address is bfitspat@math.duke.edu. That's a picture of me feeding my twins who were born in February 2020. So I'm the lead instructor for the course, which means that I'm writing the material and doing the lectures. But every Thursday, you'll break out into smaller discussion sections, which are led by some of our other math faculty. Simon will be running discussions 1 and 2. Curtis will be leading the discussions 3, 4, 5, and 6. Calvin will be leading the discussions 7 and 8. And Logan will be leading the discussions 9 and 10. So you'll see a lot of me this semester, and then you'll also be seeing one of the discussion instructors this semester. Okay, so here is a schedule of what a typical week in your life in this course will look like. So here's the plan for the semester. Every Monday, new lessons will be released on my website, which we'll take a look at in a moment. And along with these new lessons, every lesson will have a problem set attached to it and a quiz attached to it. And the quizzes and problem sets will be released in Gradescope. So the lessons are on my website, and the assignments, namely quizzes and problem sets, are on Gradescope. So that's in red here. That's Monday morning. The green cells here are our lectures. So there are 220 of you, roughly, divided into 2 lectures. Section 1 meets from 1:45 to 2:35 p.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday in White 107. And then Section 2 meets from 3:30 to 4:20 in the same room. So the lectures are Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then every Thursday, as we mentioned a moment ago, you'll break into smaller discussion sections. So each of you is enrolled in exactly one of these. And there are 10 of them in total. So these are the different time slots for the various discussion sections. You are enrolled in one of these, so you attend one of these per week. So that's how things are released. Lessons are released online. We have a lecture in class, and then we have discussions on Thursday. And then, as I mentioned a moment ago, each lesson has a problem set and a quiz associated to it. The deadline for you completing that work and uploading it to Gradescope is the following Monday at 10 p.m. So you have 7 days to complete those assignments. Now, word of warning, I absolutely expect that you attend lecture and discussion. So if you don't attend lecture and discussion, or if you have a non-excused absences, that'll absolutely affect your grade. So speaking of grades, here's how the breakdown works for this semester. So let's work our way up percentage-wise. So as we've mentioned a few times at this point, every lesson has a comprehension quiz associated to it. This is a quiz that's embedded in Gradescope, and it is your job to take the quiz in Gradescope, and this is 8% of your grade. Now, part of acquainting yourself with college mathematics is learning to collaborate with other individuals. So I absolutely expect that you work with your peers and you seek out help if you need help working on the quizzes. Note that late quizzes are not accepted. So I will not accept any work past the 10 p.m. deadline every Monday. So make sure that you're doing these ahead of time. Also, we have problem sets. So these are worksheets written that are sort of designed to test maybe more in-depth type of problems, maybe problems that you're writing solutions to rather than multiple choice problems that you might see on the quizzes. The deadline for these is the same as the quizzes, 10 p.m. on Mondays. And it is your responsibility to download and print the templates that are in Gradescope. Then, once you're done writing your solutions to those problems in the template, it is your responsibility to upload those your completed problem sets to Gradescope. And I need everyone to use a scanning app. So if you're using your phone to submit your work, use a scanning app. Don't just take like a picture, like a JPEG, because that looks terrible. Lots of people like to use tablets to write down solutions. That's totally fine. In fact, it's probably a little better. The quality there, I've found, is very good. So absolutely use a tablet if you're used to working that way. I'm probably too old. I'll probably never learn how to use a tablet at this point, but I admire those of you who are able to do it. And just like with quizzes, I absolutely expect that you collaborate with your classmates and you seek help if you need help on the problem sets. But also late work is not accepted for the problem sets. So problem sets are 10% of your grade. And then the next 12% of your grade are determined by your participation in the discussion sections. So in discussion every week, you'll be working on a worksheet, and I expect that you finish that worksheet in discussion, and your grade is simply that you worked on the worksheet. So those are graded on completion, not accuracy. Let's actually move over to midterm exams. So the midterm exams are worth 40% of your grade. These there will be 3 of these. The first one is on September 24th. The second is on October 22nd. And the third is on November 19th. Those are all Fridays. And those are taken in lecture. So you'll be taking a 50-minute exam in lecture. And your average of all 3 of those exams counts for 40% of your grade. And then finally, the last 30% of your grade is determined by a final exam. So the final exam is a cumulative exam designed to test or assess your learning for the entire course. That will be on December 10th, 2021 from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. So that's not our regular meeting time. That's another time. The location has not been determined yet, but it will be eventually. And when it is, I'll make sure that I announce it clearly. And one policy that I have, especially in courses like this where there's so many students, is if you happen to miss a midterm with an excused absence. So if you get sick and you can't be at one of the exams and that absence is excused, and you excuse it by going through the proper channels, the way that I'll compensate for that missed midterm is I'll take your final exam score and replace your missed exam with that final exam score. Great. So that's how grades break down for the course. This slide is relevant to some of you, but not all of you. If you receive accommodations through the SDAO office, the thing that you absolutely need to do is you need to make an appointment for each of the exams by going to the URL listed here and clicking on this green button. You should have also received an email from me if you had reached out to me about accommodations. And if you haven't, make sure you reach out to me so that I know that you need to do this. Okay, so how will you interface with the course? The vast majority of the course materials are on my course website or on my personal website. And the URL for that is bfits.xyz. So when you navigate to the course website, you'll find the page looks something like this. And you'll notice that there are 4 icons near the top here. The first icon is the homepage for the course, and that lists a schedule of topics that we cover throughout the semester. The next icon is a little calendar icon. This is a Google Calendar where I organize all of the important times and dates for the course. There's also a link to Gradescope. That's where all the quizzes and problem sets will be released, so you need to be looking at Gradescope frequently. And then finally, there's a course policies document, which is a more official looking version of these welcome slides. There is a textbook for the course, and the textbook is called Introduction to Linear Algebra by Gilbert Strang. The majority of the material we do, in fact, the vast majority of the material that we source from is slides written by me, and problem sets and quizzes written by me. But that being said, it's nice to have another resource in textbook form. So I do require that you get this book. The priority, however, is low. The main thing we'll use the book for is about a week or so before every exam, I'll distribute or I'll list some problems from the book that you might want to take a look at in preparation for the exam. So we're mainly using it for practice problems, not as an official source material for the course. What about getting help? So getting help is a really important part of acquainting yourself with college mathematics. What you're looking at here is a typical week's worth of ways to get help in the course. So there's roughly 3 categories here of ways to get help. There's office hours with me or one of the discussion instructors. There is a help room run by the math department. And then the Academic Resource Center hosts study sessions a few times a week that you are free to attend, but you need to sign up for those. So office hours are listed in the blue cells here. And I believe I have mine and everyone else's listed here. So let's see here. Simon, Curtis, Calvin, Brian. Yeah, and Logan. Yeah, so I have all the office hours listed here. Note that sometimes office hours are hosted in a physical location. Other times, office hours will be conducted over Zoom. So we have sort of a mixture of both in-person and Zoom office hours. I may or may not add to these as the semester progresses. Sometimes schedules change. Sometimes I find that there's just a certain time that students would rather have. So I like to try to be flexible when I can. But this is what we'll start with for now. As I mentioned a moment ago, the math department hosts a help room, which operates on Monday and Thursday from 7 p.m. till 10 p.m. And that is in a physical location. That's Physics 235. So you should feel free to take advantage of that as a resource. And then the study sessions hosted by the Academic Resource Center occur at 4 different times listed here, 2 on Wednesday, 1 on Thursday, and 1 on Friday. I encourage you to sign up for one of these discussion sessions. And in order to do that, you should email Suzanne Crefo. Her email address is suzanne.crefo@duke.edu. So the email address is right here. So there's lots of opportunities for help. Make sure you start to take advantage of these early in the semester rather than later in the semester. Let's see what's next. Okay, so I now just have a few things, through a few broad things that I'd like to say to everyone. So in terms of advice when it comes to what I expect from you academically, one of the most important things about the course is that you keep pace. We're roughly going to get through 3 topics every week, which means you'll be doing 3 problem sets and 3 quizzes a week. So make sure you work through these lessons promptly. If you procrastinate, that's when people start falling behind and things start to go poorly. Also, I encourage you to participate. So a really good way to learn and reinforce math is to attend any of all of your discussions. I require that you attend your discussions, but also contribute in discussion, and also attend office hours. Maybe you feel like you understand all the topics in a week. That might be true. If you go to office hours, you might be able to share what you've learned in office hours in a productive way. I certainly learn that way. Communicate. If you find that something is maybe not going the way that you would like, reach out to either me or one of the discussion instructors as early as possible. Typically, if problems arise, they tend to compound upon themselves if a student waits a long time to talk to me about it. And another thing that I want everyone to really think about is I want you to practice your writing. This is a huge thing when it comes to transitioning from high school math to college math. In high school, it's sort of taught to students that the most important thing about a math problem is the answer to that problem. But in higher level math, it's not necessarily the answer that matters when we're working on a problem. It's the way that you articulate your solution to the problem. So I almost never care as much about the answer to a problem as I do about how well written the solution to the problem is. So some of you are going to absolutely hate this because you've been conditioned to just write down your answer, box it, and move on. But we expect more than that. I want to see how you arrived at the answer, not what the answer is. I already know what all the answers are. And I also have some expectations in terms of conduct. So we're going to be in person this semester, but there will be a certain amount of activity online, maybe through Zoom office hours or email communications. The number one thing to keep in mind is you should be nice, especially if you're communicating over the internet. Remember that there's 220 of you, and there's 1 of me and 4 discussion instructors. There's a lot going on at any moment in time. So if you could if something is bothering you or there's something that you feel like you need, We definitely want to help, but it helps a lot if you can be patient and be kind. And that's the next thing too, is be patient. You're going to be looking at a lot of slides written by me. You're working on problem sets and quizzes. From time to time, you might notice something like a typo, or maybe there's a miscommunication, or even maybe something is misgraded. I absolutely want to address those problems when they come up, but please keep in mind that it's expected that these things happen from time to time. So while we definitely want to help as quickly as we can, sometimes it takes a little time just because of the scale of this course. Also be humble. I think one of the most important things when it comes to succeeding in this course is to make sure that you're learning everything properly. From time to time, you might find that you've seen something that we're covering before, but it would be a really big mistake to just skip over learning the way that we do it in this course, rather than maybe just rely on something you've seen in the past, because there are certain ways that we're going to do things because they're useful later on in the course. This is how I absolutely learn, is if I encounter something that I'm trying to understand, I might see something that I've seen before, but it's almost always more useful just to relearn it from scratch, because you end up realizing that maybe you missed some things the first time you learned it. And finally, I want you to humor me. Remember that the telos, so to say, of this course is to learn linear algebra. So the conversations that I get excited to have, and one of the reasons I'm excited to be back in person, is because I get to talk about math, my favorite thing, with all of my students. That's what I love doing, and that's why I'm here. Sometimes it gets a little bit too easy to get caught up in all of the bureaucratic aspects of a course with lots of moving parts, and that's not so exciting. So keep in mind that you're here to learn linear algebra. So always keep that in mind as you're talking to me. Okay, so that's all I have in the welcome slides here. The next thing I want to look at is the course webpage. So here is what the course webpage looks like. The URL is bfits.xyz. That'll take you to my homepage. And if you click on Math 218 up here, that takes you to the course homepage. So as promised, there's 4 icons in the top here. There's the schedule icon, which is just the homepage for the course. There's this calendar icon. If you click on that, it'll take you to a Google Calendar where I've done my best to organize all of the times and dates for things in the course. So tomorrow is the 23rd, the first day of class. Material will be released. We have 2 lectures tomorrow, and I'll have some office hours at 2:40 p.m. in our big lecture hall. And then you'll see throughout the week, there's other office hours, lectures, your discussion sections, so on and so forth. So make sure that you're looking at the calendar. If you're wondering, when is the next exam, or when are office hours this week, this is the first place you should go to get answers to that question. You'll find up at the top, the next thing after the calendar is a link to Gradescope. We'll be using Gradescope a lot in this course, so make sure that your account is active and that you've logged in and you've started to take a look at all of the assignments for this course in Gradescope. And this 4th icon takes you to the course policy sheet. Like I said before, this is just a more formal looking version of the welcome slides we just talked through. Let's go back to the schedule so we can conclude this welcome video. So remember that the way things work is that every Monday, new material is released. So you'll see here I have week 0. That's just predates maybe the first day of class. If you click on the topic, that's where I found, or where I just lectured from the welcome slides that we just went through. And then you'll find some resources here. So here is a link to the YouTube video that you're watching right now. You'll also notice here, this is an Apple icon, and this is an Android icon. I really want you to get a scanning app so that you can scan your problem sets when you upload them to Gradescope, rather than take a crummy JPEG picture. The scanning apps make your work look a lot better than the JPEG picture. So these links should take you to scanning apps that are recommended highly. But if you go to week 1, you'll see the actual mathematical material we'll be covering for the first week. Typically, this will be 3 topics, but during the first week, just to ease everyone into the course, we're only doing 2 topics. Again, if you click on the name of the topic, that will take you to slides covering the topic that I will lecture from. If you go back, you'll see a YouTube icon. That's a YouTube video of me lecturing through the slides. And then the second icon here is called Sage. This is a computer algebra system that you'll sort of use as a calculator throughout the semester. We'll say more about that when we do the lectures. The last thing I want to mention is, even though I have these YouTube videos of me lecturing through the material, I've designed those videos to be sort of shorter and more compact, because that's how like learning works online. In lecture, we'll be going through the same material, but we'll also be doing more examples. So I absolutely mandate that you come to lecture. Watching these YouTube videos is certainly not enough to succeed in the course. You should come to lecture too to see all the additional material we do. That being said, if you have to miss a day or two here or there, maybe like if you get a positive COVID test or whatever, I think watching the videos will suffice for that one day. But you don't want to be missing lots of days of lecture. Okay, so that concludes everything I want to say here. I'll do another intro thing on Monday when we have our first day of class, and then we'll jump into the math. So I'm really excited to be back on campus. I don't think I've been back in like a year and a half. I live right next to campus, but I'm never there. So I'm really looking forward to meeting all of you. And so see you soon. Cheers.